Did you say you're going to safari?
Yes, we went to Zambia for the first
Oh,
time.
nice.
Oh yeah, we went to Zambia. That was the first time with that
Have you done a self-drive there?
We did once and decided South Africa was so big we didn't want to do it again.
Okay.
So every other
Botswana.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's our favourite.
Yeah.
But we were going to go to Botswana again this year for the third time. But Zambia is about 2/3 the price of Botswana.
Okay.
Is that because they were leading the charge, weren't they, in terms of preservation of the wildlife of Botswana?
Yeah, Botswana apparently made the decision right back when it all first started, was they wanted low numbers, high revenue, whereas people like South Africa did high numbers, low prices.
Right, yeah.
So,
That's interesting.
so Botswana was damn expensive.
I thoroughly recommend the self-drive safari, although I think if we did it again, we'd do it with 2 vehicles, because it's a little bit, you feel a little bit exposed.
Where was that?
In Botswana.
That was Botswana.
Yeah, you basically fly to one place, I can't remember what they're called, and then it's about 120 miles away the other place, and you spend a week driving yourself, and you hardly see any other humans. But we had a couple of punctures, and that's a little bit. So I'm changing the puncture while they're all sitting on the roof.
Yeah, you meant that bloody quick.
Yeah,
Well,
it's amazing how quickly you can change it.
It is actually, yes.
They did lead the way in banning big game hunting in Botswana. On the basis that they were getting more of a tourism factor from people photographing.
Right.
Well,
We saw loads of, you know.
But it's just so friendly.
Yeah.
Botswana people are just
Yeah.
so friendly and unbelievable.
I'm not excited.
That's quite exciting, send you off with a satellite phone. You have a week's worth of supplies and water and stuff, and off you go.
Some friends of ours did that in Namibia, which was interesting apparently.
Well, what's quite interesting, I twigged fairly quickly, I think give you a satellite, I twigged fairly quickly because of my aviation experience, that the satellite was in degrees, minutes, and decimals of minutes, not degrees, minutes, and seconds. And it didn't tie up with the map we gave you, so anybody who's not used to it would have gone, ugh, this doesn't work. Good, anyway, we're nearly there. Another 20 seconds, we can start.
Gosh.
Excitement is reaching fever pitch.
Do you remember when we went to Namibia for the afternoon?
I do, yes.
For the
Whole
afternoon.
afternoon.
Oh really? What was this, on the way to South Africa or something?
On the way back.
Oh really? Aeroplane problems?
No, it's a boat.
Oh!
The boat stopped there.
Oh right. Lovely. Excellent, right, the time is now, so welcome everybody, welcome to the member of the public.
Thank you.
Good, so apologies, we haven't had any apologies other than Ros, which wasn't so much an apology, it was just a statement she's going to be late, so, but that's okay, good. Okay, so public forum, Geraldine.
No questions.
No.
I should have thought of something.
Oh, say something, God. Good. So County Council, West Suffolk Council, Karen, we have anything other than the...
She's sent her, just her reports, haven't heard much otherwise.
No, so we haven't heard anything about funding for...
No.
That's, I suspect that's not her, is it? It's she's trying to get hold of.
Yeah.
If she does turn up, can we ask her for an update on Woodlands?
Yeah, we'll do.
Yes, now, does the unitary authority planning turn up anywhere else on the agenda, or is this a good point to bring it up?
I don't know.
As long as you can limit it to 30 seconds. No, I'm only joking.
No,
Yeah,
this is quite simple. I did show you this briefly, this
Yeah.
report that was sent through to us all from the County Council, and it's very long-winded report.
Yeah.
There are some figures in it, and apparently they were compiled by, not Price Waterhouse, but one of the big firms. Deloitte, talking about unitary authority. Yeah. And so there are figures in it. However, the figures are all one-off large figures with no specifics about, for example, the net benefit apparently in this report of going to one single authority over a 5-year period is 78.2 million. But net benefit, whatever your net benefit actually means, that's what it is. Right? However, the cost of changing to a unitary authority is 47.2 million. I'll be much happier with these figures if they didn't leave the point in, because it makes it look like they know exactly what the figure is. There's no reaction in the report, but it shows you how the figure's built up. So you've got 78.2 million net benefit over 5 years. Right? Cost 47.2 million. Right? Rather bizarrely, annual benefits from going to a unitary authority, 39.7 million. Right? So that's almost 40 million, so over 5 years you've got about £200 million worth of annual benefits, but the net benefits are 78.2 million, so that's 130 million seems to have gone somewhere. And the problem I have with this report is once you start looking at figures like that, you can't find out. I couldn't find out. I got to about page 700, and I couldn't find anything there that is specific. So there's all these big figures in this. That's great. Now the recurring benefits after 5 years are 39.4 million. I don't know what that means, really. So where's that come from? Just finally, if they were to go to 3 councils, do away with the county council, go to 3 councils, which is madness, I think. Apparently, the net benefit over 5 years would be minus 48 million. If they go to 2 councils, the net benefit will also be minus 47 million. So the people that have come up with these wonderful plans of having God knows how many councils that aren't unitary councils, because it's all a matter of semantics, what it actually really is, are going to cost a lot of money, which you don't really need to be a genius to work out.
Indeed.
But the benefit of having one unitary authority, which is sensible, I think when you look at it, it is quite sensible, there's a lot of things going for it. On the other hand, it's going to cost me 50 million to set up, with net benefits after 5 years of 70 million. And so you've got to go, why just leave it as it is? Because this report here is all sorts of fascinating things about Suffolk in here. It's a great report, really. But redundancy costs. Redundancy costs, if you go to the single authority, would be about 10-11 million quid. But it doesn't say who that's for. It breaks down to senior.
Do we get to vote on it in any shape or form?
I didn't get that bit. I started to nod.
I think the answer is no.
So that
Maybe Karen can put some light on it.
I'm sure Karen can.
Rather not.
All I'm saying really is there's some big figures in here.
Yeah.
They've all got point something off, which makes it look as though Deloitte or whatever it is.
No, something that makes it.
I've actually got something somewhere. I've actually got something stacked up to 48.2 million. I'd like to have seen that spreadsheet that gave us that 42.2 million. That's all. I don't know why it's not there. It makes it look a bit like smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it is. I'm sorry, I don't know much about it.
Anyway, so I just thought everybody else would have read it as well.
I only got page 699. You did well to get to 700.
I'm afraid I'm not able to shed any light on those figures by Deloitte's. That's something that they've obviously come up with. Having done an analysis on shared information from the county council, but to be honest, the figures don't add up, and I've got to agree with you. I mean, please don't mean it that. I mean, I'm just a little bit.
It's not that. I know people like to use clever words, but I don't know. Has anybody else ever used the word coterminous? Do you know what coterminous means? Anybody know what coterminous means?
Something to do with the bus or what?
Don't use it all the day.
It means that coincides with the operational area they already have. So it's, I think Suffolk Police or something, and they just go, oh, this operating area is coterminous. Now anybody that puts the word coterminous into a report and lets that go through to the public,
Yeah, no, I
you
agree.
will go, oh, well, you should stand for Parliament.
Can I just
Anyway, sorry, yes.
I think the most important thing is we lose our local representatives. We can't go into West Suffolk House and have a
Yeah, no, exactly, yeah.
and it's really valuable.
If it's helpful, if you want me to say something on
Oh,
this,
yes,
I mean,
do.
I feel that I'm your district and county councillor here, so I do think it comes down to who your elected representative is and how willing they are to be present on the ground, quite frankly. And I know that you've probably over the years had different types of representation, and I think it's really electing the right person, and you may not find a huge difference if you elect the right person, but of course you've got to all be in agreement to elect that right person that you feel is right for your community. But I don't feel that you might lose a local place to go, but I don't think you'd lose the connection, because I do feel that parish councils could have quite a greater say, and I think that would bring advantages to the parishes.
Yeah.
What that looks like, we don't know yet, but I don't think that they will have essentially Parliament, a single unitary authority, and then parishes in the same way that they have now, because that is such a broad gap from one to the other. I do think that potentially the amount that parish councils are able to raise from the public might change. I don't have any hard evidence for that, but I do think there's opportunities for parishes to step up and have a greater say and a greater role in the community.
Yeah, so that's a potential advantage.
Oh, I think that's a great advantage, but we don't have any flesh on the bone for that.
No.
But would our sort of version of you be in various members, or would they be in Ipswich or?
Well, they would be
Norwich
like
or-
I am, for instance.
Yeah.
So it would be Suffolk. It won't be a combined Norfolk and Suffolk.
Right.
That's only for the mayoral,
Right.
the mayoralty. It will be if it's one, it'll be a Suffolk unitary authority, and then people will be elected. But you would have to have a representation within your electoral area. You would either have to live there, or you'd have to own property there, and that would depend on how you believe what somebody's saying, and the campaign that they run, or the people that stand against them, and how well that is believed.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think you would still have potential for good representation. It comes down to who you elect,
Yeah.
and that's across colours. I'm not trying to make that a colour or a political statement at all.
It does say here a few times that parish councils, should they wish to, may well be offered increased powers and increased funding.
Yes.
It says that quite a few times.
Yeah.
And it also says, when you look at the pros and cons of who says what and what people think, a lot of people, Geraldine took up your point precisely, that, if you just have a bigger mass, is that mass just going to be more remote? Is it going to be more difficult to deal with? Having said that, it's a county council. It's not that big. It's not like you're going off to the moon or anything, is it? and so
I also think from what I've read, it's likely that, so I've got 8,000 people in my county division at the moment. I understand it will go down to about between 4,000 and 5,000. So you won't be representing as many people, and you would only have one person.
Okay. So Christopher, you want to say something?
Well, it struck me that if parish councils are potentially going to get more roles and power, would we know what those are before the decision is made as to whether we go to one authority or two or three authorities? Because How can you make a decision
I agree with you.
when,
Yeah.
you know, how can we make comments if we don't actually know what those roles and powers might be? And the other thing is, if as a parish council we end up with more things to do, you know, we're all volunteers, there's 7 of us, you know, we need to know whether it's going to take up a lot more of our individual time. Are we going to be expected to employ somebody, pay them to be, you know, it opens so many questions.
Indeed, and a lot of those questions are unanswered at present, and that will come down to the guidance from the government. And at the moment, it isn't there.
So are they going to make a decision before we have all these
That's what I
answers?
think.
I know it's not helpful. I really apologise.
Well, I mean, are they going to push it through and we won't know the answers to these questions?
I can't answer that because the government hasn't announced what they're going to do. They haven't even announced if the elections, as it stands at the moment, are going to happen in May. I can't imagine that they are going to happen in May because that's not very far away, and you're not going to elect a whole load of county councillors for 1 year. So my strong suspicion is they're going to delay the election for 1 more year because.
Yeah, there's also, I think I'm...
Yeah, or potentially, but they're only allowed, statutorily now, they're only allowed to delay it for 1 year. So, and they're only allowed to say they're delaying it for 1 year because they're the powers that the government's got, unless they're going to have another bill that's going to change the powers, which is going to, it's very short time to then bring that bill in through Parliament.
But it's also worth bearing in mind that I think I'm right saying that the main protagonist for all of this is no longer there. Angela Rayner. So, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if the whole thing gets put on the back burner, like it perhaps should be. But it wouldn't surprise me.
Okay, well, let's move on.
It's probably not clearer than it was before. I apologise.
Sorry about
that.
Right. Silence for 10 minutes. So Karen, yeah, so could you...
yeah, I've sent you my report.
Yeah.
It's quite quiet at the moment.
Yeah.
Happy to take any questions on that. I wasn't going to bore you to tears and go through it all. But any questions or anything later on the agenda for me, happy to take it forward. Yeah, Chris.
So nothing to do with your report or anything, but I know we've mentioned this a few times before. Is there any update on the enforcement action under planning for woodlands?
Not, yeah, I did chase that for you when you sent me that email, and I haven't heard as yet.
It's just, you know, it's
we just have a look.
So long now.
It's 3.5 years.
It's gonna, you know, we mention it every time. We don't seem to get anywhere. At some point, somebody will say, "Well, it's too late now," and then we'll all be going, "Well, why don't we push it harder?"
Yeah.
So I'm trying to push it harder and say we need an answer as to whether it's going to be addressed. Because I think I said last time, this is not just any old enforcement case. This is based on advice that we were given by the tree officer, which proved to be wrong, it seems, unless it's enforced.
And I haven't had any update from my email that I sent a couple of days ago.
Can you give us some assurance that you'll somehow get us an answer?
Yes, I will chase it as I do everything for you.
Yeah, but it's just becoming, it seems to be becoming ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll mention it next time.
Yeah, but please do. I mean, please do just chase me on it because I'm more than happy to, you know, chase it down all the time.
Thank you. That's appreciated.
Any news on funding for speed camera things?
No, I haven't. I chased that when you sent me that email. Let me have a look. No. No. I know that they've sent it off. I sent it to the email address you sent it to, and then I sent it to the General Highways email address, which and then they replied and sent it on for me to another one. So, yeah, that I don't know.
But you've got some money somewhere in your budget?
I have a highways locality budget. I can't remember how much is in it because the county council control it and let me know. Right. It's a separate budget from my locality budget. But I should be able to access that, and I can't see any reason why I shouldn't be able to.
Great. And if we buy it, which we're going to,
yeah,
can you sort of give the money afterwards, sort of thing, or?
I can do. as long as they agree to it, but I can't give you a cast iron assurance
No,
that I will
sure,
be able
sure.
to. I mean,
But if you said it's probably going to happen,
there's no reason that it's been turned down previously.
right, okay.
If we buy it, will it prejudice getting grant money for it?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to
We
say.
don't
Using
need
much
to
better
grant.
words.
If we
How
take
would-
the decisions
How
like
would
that.
they know that you've bought it if you give me quotes?
Will they ask for the invoice?
They would ask for quotes.
Okay.
And if you have quotes,
Who fills out the application form, us or you?
for this, there's no application form. I just submit the quotes to the highways locality budget.
Because for locality you have to...
For locality budget, both for West Suffolk and for county, it's a form, but for highways locality budget, it isn't. So if I can't get it through the highways locality budget, I can try both for West Suffolk and for the other way.
Okay.
So this is why I'm fairly confident that you will get the money
Right.
by hook or by crook.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Do you want me to resend the quote or?
Yeah, resend the quote and I'll just keep hassling them. I mean, I suspect they're super busy and they've got annual leave or something like that. But it's as frustrating for me as it is for you.
Great. Okay, thanks very much, Karen.
Okay.
Is there anything else you want to talk to Karen about?
No, and there's nothing later on the agenda highways wise. Yeah.
Yeah, do you get involved in quiet lanes?
Yeah, I can do. I'm supporting a few. I think you have to have public participation with that. Have you spoken to the portfolio holder yet for that?
No, so what we're planning to do is a joint application. Sorry, we're talking about Bell's Lane up
Yeah.
there. So that goes into Great Old Leatham. So we're going to do a joint application.
Yeah, and both are within my division.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, do that. But it is quite involved, there's not a massive benefit. It has to be a lane that is fairly quiet anyway, and pretty much you get signage and priority for pedestrian. I can't really see so we had one in Tuddenham, and it was an incredibly quiet lane that went into the nature reserve, and so anyone speeding down there, although someone did kill themselves speeding down there some years ago. But it is an incredibly quiet area where people dog walk, and that became a quiet lane. But I didn't see any difference, really, apart from some new signage that went up.
Do you think if a lane is designated as a quiet lane has any influence over it being used as an alternative route during roadworks?
I think it would probably restrict that. Yes.
That's a good thought,
Yes.
yeah.
I would think so. I don't have any cast iron evidence for that, but that would make sense. You know, if you've got a quiet lane that pedestrians, dog walkers, wheelchairs and horse riders have priority over, and then you're wanting to divert traffic on from a B road, it'd be a hard sell to say that that's appropriate diversion.
Yeah, no, that's a good thought. The only other thing we were going to talk about later on highways was down by Larkfield Corner.
I'm not sure I know where that is. Maybe I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, indeed. So going out of the village, through the pound,
Yeah.
and out down the hill, the bottom of the hill there.
It's a bit wet down there.
That's it. Exactly.
Yeah.
We were discussing the idea of having white lines along the edge. We saw
Yeah.
Matthew Fox yesterday.
Okay.
We're going to talk about that later. But he's saying that basically we've got to fund it, so we need to come and talk to you about funding it. But
Yeah.
he's going away to see whether we can have it at all in the first place.
Yeah.
Then if we can, he's going to get a quote,
Mhm.
and then we're going to talk about it. So that's
Leave
in
it with
the
him.
future.
Yeah, leave it with him. Again, I would be putting that through my highways locality budget.
Okay,
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah. But I'd need Matthew's agreement on that. I think he's away on annual leave, from memory.
We saw him yesterday.
So maybe he's back.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just back. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would let him come back and guide us on that if that's
Yeah.
all right. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, fantastic.
Okay. But no, more than happy to support that. And it shouldn't be hugely expensive. I think sort of a couple £100 or something. Is that what he said?
He said it could be as much as 2,000, didn't he?
Oh, why did he say that?
Well, I don't know. See, that he also said that we might be able to get them to. They've got to repaint some of it anyway.
So he may be able to get some of it. He's quite
Yeah.
good at getting some of that
Yeah.
shoehorned in. So
Yeah.
which is why
Yeah.
I try not to get involved, because sometimes he's quite creative.
Yeah, he gave us a few creative tips.
Yeah,
I won't
and
say
he
on
is
camera.
very good at that.
Yeah.
And so I tend not to get involved when he's saying things like that. I stay far away from it, and then he just comes to me with the differential, and I go, sold, I'll pay for it.
We found him to be very positive
He's very,
and pragmatic.
yeah,
Very good.
yeah. He is an ex-Anglian Water engineer. And I think anyone that works for Anglian Water has got to be creative, because they blooming well don't do anything. In my experience. Don't quote me on that again.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you very much, Karen.
All right, are you okay if I go? I'm going to try and get to
of
Wesley.
course. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All right, thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
nice to see you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Evening, Ross.
Hello,
sorry,
no.
Yeah, no worries. No problem. Okie dokie. So the next item is police. Well, they never come anymore, do they? But you
No.
can always put their annual report on the link you can.
Yeah, exactly.
So nothing much to say on that.
Could I just say one small thing here, Henry? I've looked at the report online, and it does show one crime in Hawstead Road. I do know that a few weeks ago the police were in attendance along Hawstead Road when there was some sort of disturbance between two individuals. I'll just put that on record.
Thank you, John. Thank you. Okay. Declarations of interest.
I have to declare that my wife Amanda has put a comment on something that's come up in the packet.
Oh, right, okay. So you're.
I have an interest in that.
Okay, but you're not the next door neighbour, are you? So.
No, so I'm not an interest, purely.
Yeah.
A neighbourhood here.
And I'd like to declare an interest on item 10.2, which was the payments to be made or to be approved later on. My registering the interest refers to the payment of £94 odd for the reimbursement of the highways speed sign on the white gates.
Okay. Great, thank you very much.
And I suppose I've got some interest in line too, but that's not.
Sorry,
You
in.
mean the appeal on the
Yes.
one, so that 9-1, yeah.
Is it?
It's the appeal next door to,
Sorry.
yeah.
The appeal is the 9-2.
Sorry, that's the one.
Oh, that's fine.
Sorry, but that one, it'll come in at 9-1,
Oh,
sorry.
okay, fine.
Cool. Okay. Minutes of the last meeting. So Catherine wasn't here at the last meeting, but my daughter did the minutes, but I think they're more or less right. So are we all happy with that?
Well done.
Yeah. Well, I say my daughter did both. Catherine
I just,
rearranged the words and the more.
that's brilliant, thank you. Thanks to her for
Yeah,
doing
no
that,
worries.
thank you.
No worries. Right, matters arising. So, footpath leaflet. No one's volunteered to jump up and do that, have they? So shall we park that? If nobody's going to volunteer to do it, then
I don't think anybody's keen on championing it, really, are they?
no,
It's, like,
it's,
it's a nice idea, but
yeah,
somebody's got to.
it's well worth effort. Yeah, exactly. YouTube channel, that is actually up and running. We've got some teething troubles with the technology, but we're working on that, so I think that's all okay. So speed camera signage on the village gates. So initially we had a thing saying it was okay, then we had a thing saying we're not sure it's okay. The most up-to-date information is that Matthew, what's his name? Matthew Fox yesterday stated quite clearly that because we have the roaming ANPR speed cameras, that qualifies it to be able to have the speed camera sign up. So, has anybody got any issues with that? We're all happy that we can keep the speed camera signs up. So, yeah. So we're happy as a council unanimously that we can. Excellent. Good. Right. What's the next thing? Was defibrillators.
Just to flag up really, you've got 2 defibrillators. I think everybody with a defibrillator has been asked to also register them on the circuit, which I think is a national kind of coordinating body which liaises with the various ambulance services. And I think you've kindly done that.
They sent me a note, and in fact I think yes, your daughter mentioned it, to you, Penny. I think she got it somewhere. Anyway, they sent me a note. Came from Webnos, for the people that we deal with.
Yeah.
And I've been sending monthly check reports to, so that everything's all right and we sort of get stuff from them. They then sent a note through saying, in fact, look, we're backing off from this a bit. By all means, keep sending us your report. We'll keep you updated on all sorts of stuff. But these people now, with the backing of the Heart Foundation or whatever, now liaise with ambulance services and the NHS across the country, so that if somebody is in dire need of a defibrillator, they can look up on their register and go, well, there's one there. Must confess I was a bit surprised because I can't quite see why an ambulance service might want to borrow someone else's defibrillator. I still don't.
I think you have to phone 999 and the ambulance service tell the people on the ground where to get the defibrillator.
Right, they didn't explain it like that.
Yeah.
Because then they go on and sent me a letter or another email saying, after we'd agreed to sign up to it, just in case there's any opportunity or any chance of your defibrillator going missing, we're sending you some stickers to stick on it. I thought, right. So how long do they go missing then? But I'm getting some stickers sent through, so all we can just follow what they say. Webnos is standing back from it a bit anyway now.
So what does the sticker say? Sorry, there isn't a
defibrillator. It goes on with the defibrillator. So wherever it goes,
I see, sorry.
it goes, this belongs to Hawstead.
I'm with you, right. Gotcha.
Do you have to still keep doing the webinars?
Well, Webnos give you
onerous, isn't it?
Webnos give you the opportunity to do it, but the other guys, the circuit, don't give monkeys whether to do it or not. Which is a bit odd because I quite like doing it every month and going, yes, it's working.
I think with the circuit, you have to tell them the sell-by dates or use-by dates for batteries and things.
Yes.
And if you don't update that, then it goes off their
Yes.
live network.
Yes, but I had to update with them when our pad things run out. Having already done that a month or two before, but anyway, it's just bureaucracy. But that's why we have these 2 people now to deal with.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for doing that, Jim. That's great. It's a bit of a pain, isn't it?
Well,
so other things, the replacement plaque for the crabapple tree. So, John, thank you for sorting that out. You saw the photo. It looks jolly splendid. And it looks it's a better one than the one that was there. So, all good. Excellent. So, 6 reports. So, communications, Alex, have you something to say?
Yes, so just a couple of points we touch on. Just to say that, again, as has been talked about before, the WhatsApp seems to be continuing to work well within the community, allowing for quick communications amongst residents. New Hawstead Parish Council YouTube channel is live. We've got the first couple of videos up on there. Following the last meeting, I was having a look at alternative recording arrangements with, you may have noticed we've got a different camera and what have you there, so hopefully that should all be successful. If not, I shall apologise profusely at the next meeting. And then the other item is City Fibre, so they're continuing to work their way through the village. I believe the next road that they're setting up is Berry Road. They have recently been working through Bull Lane and along most of Church Road, missing out a section in the middle around where, what's the name of Christian's house? I can't remember.
Church Farm.
Church Farm, yes. So they have said that they are going to come back, but they haven't given a timeline on when that will be. And the other thing to flag is, from chatting to some of the engineers that have been out there, is from the time that they finish putting the cable in, they anticipate that it will be about 3 to 4 months before you can then start signing up with an internet provider to start using that service. So we're talking sort of early 2026 before that really comes in. But yeah, as I say, they're continuing to make headway. Their communication's been a little bit spotty, most of it coming in the form of road signs as opposed to what it said on their website about letters. But by the same measure, a couple of letters had gone through, but just not as many as I think was the original plan.
According to their notices at the side of the road, from the end of our drive upwards in towards the village, that's going to be part of it as well. It's not just Berry Road.
Good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
High-speed internet.
So it's going to be about 150 meg minimum, they said.
So generally what the providers such as Vodafone, BT, etc., they will offer minimum service level packages. A number of those will be 150 meg minimum but can go up from there. So you've got a couple of gig download connection, but again, it depends on the area and what have you like that. So
Yeah, the only worry about it, obviously, with Bells Lane is what collateral damage there will be to the green. If there's going to dig up part of the road, they'll be driving around. And
well, one of the things that they have used along Church Road, for example, is they have been using the verges, and I did flag in our last parish council meeting that there is another parish council in Suffolk that had been in regular contact with Suffolk County Council because of the state of the verges, how they were left after they'd worked their way through. So it will have to be something that we monitor in terms of what they do when it comes to going along Bells Lane to mitigate or completely remove any risk to the village green.
So it sounds like we just need to keep a sharp eye on it really and keep in contact.
yes,
And maybe just, if we see something we're not happy with, maybe just go talk to them.
Yeah, they're very friendly, very helpful, but they don't all speak very good English.
They don't,
it's a long period of time, though, in
Yeah.
theory.
yeah. I mean, when they outside us, they buried our water meter, which is no surprise, it often gets buried, but we did go and point it out to them, and to be fair, they did dig it. They did find it.
They buried a fire hydrant in the bin as well, which they need to come and unbury.
Yeah. So I think if you talk to them, they tend to be quite receptive.
Excellent, good. So is that you done? Fantastic, thanks, Alex. Highways and safety, Jim, that's you.
Yeah, well, certainly the speed watch bit.
Speed watch, right, speed watch.
Well, these speed watches chuntering along. Every week we go out. August we actually it wasn't too bad. We actually got 12 people that were over the 35 speed limit. And the police ended up sending out 10 letters. There must have been something about our reporting system. Must have got the wrong model car or something twice. So that's 10 letters for August. And we do spread the timings around and the locations at the Pound now and here at the Village Hall. Plus, breaking news, we can now go up Weststead Road. We're out the other week here at the Village Hall, and a fellow came up and said, we've been asking you, the residents of Weststead Road have been asking for some time for something to be done about cars speeding coming down Westfield Road. And so I said, well, we'll see what we can do, and we have, and the police have agreed that we can put it towards the lower end of Westfield Road. Got that a couple of hours ago.
Brilliant.
So I think I might change the one for Saturday, which I think you're on, Henry.
Okay.
To do it there. So I did promise the guy that as soon as we got permission, we'd do it at Webster Road.
That's good.
So that's good. It's all working quite well, I think.
Excellent. He was very agitated, wasn't
He was, and I did catch him again the next day on the green, talking to John Shipley, and he did actually sort of apologise for that. He said, oh, I'm sorry, I had lots on my mind, and I was quite agitated about that. So I get it, because I don't understand why we haven't done it before, really, because it's part of the village.
Yeah.
So I hope we'll go up there on Saturday and start including that in our meeting. We are thinking as of the end of October, and obviously the daylight hours change, to perhaps doing it less often, not once we're getting into dark and rain and rubbish. So that maybe down to once a month, something like that, until the clocks go forward again. But I think it's having an effect, and I think the villagers, generally, people are very supportive of it. So
Yeah, good. I mean, I'll talk a bit more about it later, but we're also going to be able to have a speed indicator sign in Webster Road as well. So that's all good.
Just one other thing, also Paul Robertson has hand up to come join our little merry gang. He's now sent all his copious forms off to them as soon as they get back, or even before they do, we'll perhaps get him out and get him, because the training, we can do the training for him. He's just got to come along to all our things and sign them off. So that'll be 9 of us, which is pretty good.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's not bad. Excellent. Thank you very much. John?
Just to mention that we mustn't forget about the reinstatement of Bells Lane. We're talking here highways.
Yes.
And we have flagged this up previously. It's not such a problem this time of year, but I believe Anglian Water are still trundling up and down, and it's like, is that right, James?
This last few days has been incredible. The number of bulkers going up and down there.
In connection with the...
you can't actually, at the moment, except so at the ground, you can't see what it is that's going by. You just hear them.
Yeah. The guy that we had the online video calls with made a vague promise, if you remember, that he would do his utmost to repair it. So I don't think we should let them off.
No, I agree. Yeah.
I think one of the things which I think I got from our meeting with Matthew Fox, that unfortunately, due to our rural location, in terms of priority, unfortunately we get knocked right down the chain, unfortunately, because obviously we flag bits like the signs that are at various degrees off or straight. But yeah, it's a case of as and when they decide they will fit things in. They have given commitment before, which I can only have faith that they will stick to their word on it. It's just a case of...
I think John's right, we've got to keep on.
We have got to keep it fresh in mind.
To say that cries the loudest gets the most milk, so we're going to do some crying. Yeah. Excellent. So John, volunteering.
Okay, I'll be quick here. We've now moved into September, obviously, and that means the bird nesting season is over. I haven't really called for volunteers to gather together for quite a while now, but I think I've now got the opportunity to do that. So I think we need to do some carefully curated work at Hawstead Brook and Brook Green with James and Christabel's and Ross's help. I think that I can call some volunteers together now. There's a few things that still need doing. We need to renovate the bench that's on the green at the moment by the play area, and obviously later on in the agenda we've got mention of a resident's relatives who want to put a bench on the green as well. So just a few things that I've been doing. I attended a Suffolk Highways online session about community self-help. I was hoping that they would give us some sort of green light to get a team together to fill in potholes, but I was sadly mistaken. That ain't going to happen. There's absolutely no way that we can do anything like that. We can go and clip a few hedges and so on, but I think we'll do that anyway. I've attended 2 separate meetings with Matthew Fox, with Henry and with Alex and with James. I've trimmed back the willow tree out here because of safety concerns that were flagged up. I've cut the grass in front of the hall between West Suffolk Council's visits 2 or 3 times since the last meeting. I've visited Tubbenham Village Hall with Henry to investigate the experience that they've had with EV charging points, and I sent an email briefly summarising the result of that visit round a few weeks ago. Another thing, the bus route, I can now confirm, as I've sent out information about that we definitely have a daily bus service now in the village, Monday through to Saturday, not Sunday, which is great news. If someone wants to get into Bury once a day to do some shopping, there's a bus and they can return on a bus 2 or 3 hours later. So that's fantastic news. As Henry mentioned, we've purchased that plaque for the that's been damaged. It's disappointing that Suffolk County Council eventually said that it, not me, Gav, but actually I'm 99% sure that it was. But hey ho, we've sorted it now. As has been mentioned before, we put the signs up on the white gates, and that's the extent of my involvement over the last couple of months.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for all your hard work, John. And
It's a pleasure.
do keep encouraging others. Well, no, I was going to say, don't do it all yourself. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I haven't really. Originally, we had the Jamie Dodgers. That's rather gone by the way, really. But I'd appreciate some support to get that rolling again.
Yeah.
Actually,
Okay,
so I think it's a
let's
good
do that.
concept.
Yeah. Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you. Clark.
Sent my report round. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them, but otherwise.
Always good for me. Thank you. Okay, 7, conservation and greens. Christabel.
Yeah, not that much to say really. There's no news on sustainable farming incentive being relaunched. It's still a wait and see. I don't really anticipate anything happening in the next few months. Our current stewardship agreement goes on till middle end of 2027. I am hopeful at that point we will be able to apply for something else to replace it that may possibly be more lucrative. Depends if the payment rates which were in the previous scheme are continued or not, or whether they decide that actually some of them are quite generous. We'll wait and see. And the other thing I was going to mention was I sent that WhatsApp round earlier with the sign that Great Bryce had put up about not driving on the beach. It's not something I was planning on talking about today, but I just saw it and thought it looked like an interesting idea. So I was just putting it out there for discussion. Myself, I'm not that keen on the idea of peppering the village green with signs.
Yeah.
But I'm also very aware that if you don't tell people not to drive on the green, they'll say, well, you've stopped me. And we've clearly got a problem with people driving on the green. So I'm just putting it out there as an idea, really, as to what people's thoughts are on it, really.
Right, yeah. Well, who'd like to comment?
I think in terms of the green, there are a couple of sort of natural entry points, aren't there? There's sort of the corner there, over there. So I sort of wonder potentially on the areas where people are more likely to be driving directly on, and then the corner from the junction to Bells Lane for where people are going up and down along Bells Lane, just to try and discourage. But as you say, it sort of feels a shame to get to the point where we're having to pepper signs everywhere just to stop people driving all over it.
Certainly it's the people that are doing it.
Well, we'll ignore. So that's
just going to ignore
that's
it.
where my head is.
Well,
How
yeah.
many people are?
I think you're right. It just gets over the thing of people saying, "Well, how was I meant to know?" But I think
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Look, I said this a while ago, that it'd be quite nice to have little signs. The sign that you showed there, Christopher, was quite a decent enough sign, but I think quite signs that actually are, at the same time, a warning sign, don't go on our green, because it'll annoy us, but also selling the concept that it is a protected green and that the parish has something that's part of its makeup that is valuable. I mean, at the minute, unless you say this green is valuable, it means something. This isn't any old green. This is a Marks and Spencer's green. You know. This is a.
County wildlife.
Yeah, well, yes, well, something, yes.
It's valuable.
It's valuable, and it's a plus. It's a plus for the village. It's a nice thing to have. So, as long as you have the right sign, in other words, it's a good-looking, attractive sign that looks ecologically green, then fine, I'd do it. I don't see why you wouldn't do it, unless somebody runs over it with the
We
bloody
all
lawn.
agree that we have the right sort of sign. It'd be worth having one or two signs.
Just don't, as you say, don't pepper the green with signs.
So are you artistically sort of?
no.
Is anybody?
No, that's good photo. That was it.
Yeah. Is there anyone here who's good with that sort of thing? Looking to design our own sign? Oh, he's weak, isn't he?
I can take a stab at it. I've done a few bits and bobs.
I think
It's,
I totally get the idea of it being a nice sign. I like that idea, but I think you've also got to keep the wording relatively simple because
Yeah.
otherwise people just not
Yeah.
read it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
but even simply saying this is a protected, whatever the proper wording is, green, don't drive it. I mean, fine. As long as we get over that it is.
Yeah, but I think you've also got to mention the statute under which
Yeah.
so on that their sign they put the
1965
Greens Commons Act or whatever.
Yeah.
And our bylaws
Yeah.
clearly state no vehicles.
Yeah, so I think you sort of need to either mention bylaws or the Act.
It almost needs another line in the middle saying protected, whatever it is, by virtue of it, with more prominence
Yeah.
and no driving.
But you think if we design our own, we could then take it to a sign
Yeah,
marketing
I thought
company
so.
and say,
Yeah.
can you
Sure we do.
build these for us? Okay.
Or should we look and see what's available already made?
yeah.
But it'd be nice to say Hawstead Village Green or something, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
It would.
yeah,
But the format of it,
yeah.
there's probably a template for that
Yeah,
already,
yeah.
isn't there?
There probably is, but I mean, we could probably do. It probably wouldn't be very expensive, these things, if you've done the artwork already and you just say, print it out.
there would potentially still be a bit of work in terms of company scaling any assets and getting it right. There is a little bit of extra work around it beyond the design.
Is it something that we could agree we'd make an initial start and then have another think next
Yeah,
meeting?
do that.
So how
Yeah, let's do that.
is it looking like it's going in the right direction? We're all comfortable with it?
Yeah.
Tweak it if necessary.
There's definitely pushback from some individuals in the village about too much signage. But I agree, we haven't got anything that tells anybody, should we approach them, and say it shouldn't be driving on the green, and they'll say, oh, I didn't know anything about it. So
Yeah.
at least that will solve it.
It also begs the question, so I'm thinking on my feet here a bit, but of course we have more than one village green. You know, should we have one sign for Pound Green, Bull Green,
No.
or just... Because we do have problems with parking on Bull Green. Pound Green's not really a problem.
Yeah,
Ball
okay.
Green does get parkland, doesn't it? So.
But
Yeah.
do they all have the same protected status?
Oh, no, they do under the legislation, Village Greens legislation, yes, but not under the, and the same bylaws apply to them all, but this is the only one that's came to wildlife site.
That's what I mean.
So you've got 3 different things there, really.
Okay, well I'll take on researching how much is signed.
Does depend on what problem we're trying to solve. Is the other one Bull Green?
Yeah.
Infidel. Is that because people are parking on it?
Yeah. So no, yeah, people are not driving around that one, they're just parking on it.
Yeah, that's local residents,
Yeah.
isn't it? So
Yeah.
if we want to
But it does
sort
get shown
that, it might be better if I go and have a quiet word.
Okay.
Might be better.
Yeah. I didn't ask, yeah.
And is it more than one person driving on green? Do we think?
We've got no evidence.
Two motorcyclists, we saw.
2 motorcyclists.
Oh yes, that was just before the wedding, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The morning of the wedding, or the evening?
Was that the people who put mud up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it was either the last parish council meeting or the one before
Yeah,
where
we
you
saw
saw the lights going across the field. So it's clearly a semi-regular
But I mean, last winter we had somebody doing donuts down there, didn't we?
Yeah, I was wondering whether it was hair coursing because I did see a dead hair on occasion.
I don't. It's a good question. I'm not aware that anybody's seen anything that looks like hair coursing, but
It might have been just an
we don't know.
impromptu
We just don't know.
hair course.
Yeah. Okay, that was it for me.
Brilliant, thank you very much. So footpaths, so Janet sent a report, didn't she?
I don't think she did actually. I asked her.
Yeah, she
Or is
said
it coming late?
it's coming late.
I didn't.
I tell you what, I shall read it out. Apologies for the last minute update. Here's what I can report about the footpaths this time. Around the green, well maintained. However, there are a couple of issues that I believe the PC is already aware of, i.e. the problem of joyriders, that's what we've just been talking about. Also, visitors to some village hall events, including the fun day, are driving across the green and exiting opposite our house at Finance Barn. To be fair, the ground opposite us has been corroded and flattened over recent months due to numerous vehicles using that space as a stopping and or passing place. The wide strip of mow grass now makes it look even more like a legitimate entry-exit point. Please may I suggest that traffic cones or chains are placed there during events. Also perhaps ask West Suffolk Council again not to mow that strip. Don't know. Talk about that in a minute perhaps. Around by, so this is going to the footpaths, around by Hawstead Brook, well maintained, up to the pound, fine, some parts a bit overgrown but easily passable. So certainly not a disgrace, as one helpful resident posted. Past the church of Other Cranks, fine, well maintained. Path from the Cranks to Plymouth End, okay, the vegetation has been cut back, it's easily passable, but significantly rougher walking than before, presumably because it's not been so well used over recent months. Footpath from Church Road to Bull Lane, sorry not been there, but I expect Alex knows it's well maintained. Yeah, so I think it is.
It's been
Yeah. Path running parallel to Bells Lane, sorry not been there lately, hope that helps. Best wishes, Janet. That's her report. I don't know whether anybody wants to comment about that preamble about...
Is she saying that West Suffolk are mowing an extra little offshoot from opposite her house to the path? I haven't noticed it, but if they are doing that, that's not on the schedule. And
Right.
they've done that off their own back. So let me take a look and
Okay,
see
thank
what
you.
they're doing. Yeah, and
Okay.
we're pretty much at the end of the mowing season anyway, so
Yeah, okay.
nothing's going to change this year. Could I just mention that I did notice this as I drove past the end of Market Path Fields today that the footpath sign is on the ground. Yeah.
So where's that?
Outside Woodlands.
Oh,
right.
Public footpath sign is on the ground.
Right.
I mean, it has got shorter and shorter over the years as it's rotted away, it's been put back up again, but now it's just on the ground.
Right. Okay.
So we might need to report that to... Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Good, okay. River proposals, update on grant funding for North.
Right, so you received my report.
We have?
and it ends with the fact that we have got some money, which has been earmarked for Hawstead. So we're proposing to take forward the idea that you agreed to last year when I put in for a very large grant, which we didn't get, and get a plan, which will actually pick up what is in the report about the desirability of slowing the flow down the hill over there. So that we would be talking about ways of using nature-based solutions to slow the progress of floodwaters down the hill over there and into the village, as well as some kind of drainage, well not drainage scheme, it might be a wet woodland, it might be a sort of a sediment trap arrangement, with a natural sediment trap arrangement, so that water coming out down that hill could safely go into the lot.
So this is upstream of
the bridge.
Culvert and all that lot, yeah.
And the corner of the village green which gets wet, where the little tributary from Norshall comes down. So also picking up the idea that Glenn Smithson suggested to some of us last year, last October, November, I think, we were looking about the possibility of putting fallen trees across the little stream over there to improve the way in which that stream is able to move within its bed. And again, slow the flow of the river down that area. I mean, the point of these streams is that they are reducing from 105 metres where they start down to 50 metres over the course of about a mile in all directions. And then the remaining 50 metres to the sea over the next 26 miles. So a really flat river, except for here, where it's like the Alps in comparison with the rest of it. And so the issue is that we have a problem with sediment washing off the fields, sediment washing off the roads, which is, both of which are pollutants, both of which can contain all sorts of chemicals. Added to the chemicals which come out of every sewage treatment works, which we actually don't know about because they're not being measured, persistent chemicals which have no half-life in hundreds of years. So the idea is that if we could possibly get some sediment drainage, we would improve the clarity of the river, because all of the stuff going into the river is causing a huge problem. It prevents fish spawning, it prevents invertebrates doing their thing, and it just looks nasty.
And the bit you said earlier about creating some sort of not water meadow or something.
Well,
whose land would that be on?
So it would be a question of talking to local landowners. So it would be the corner of the field across the stream, which often does not grow a crop.
Is that brown?
It isn't any longer brown, it's sold off.
Ah, right.
So it would be a case of talking to these landowners. I mean, I actually spoke to a farmer, the gamekeeper, for Tim Webber the other day, and he came, "What are you going to do about this?" And he was quite agitated because we were putting in the centimetre sensor at Larkfield Corner. You've seen the sign, but it's...
Oh, that was yesterday, was it?
Yes.
Was that the little blue sign that's appeared?
That's
what that was.
Yes. There is now a sensor in the river there, which is continuous monitoring of dissolved oxygen, free ammonia, pH and temperature. And there is now, they've modified it. It's an interesting scientific development. It's a groundbreaking piece of science which actually enables the continuous monitoring of these forever chemicals as well, if it works. It's an experiment. There will be, as I said in the report, there will be 16 of those sensors across the entire catchment, and we will have 2 actually in the village, in addition to the sediment tube which has been in the river just beyond the point where the Hawstead tributary joins the Lark. That's been in the river since March, and that, I say river, it's dry at the moment, it's dry yesterday. So, but the sediment has been dried off, sent down to Southampton and analysed, and we're awaiting a report about, an interim report imminently, as to what that is telling us about how sediment is transported right from our area right through to Prickwillow at the other end of the catchment.
Thank you.
So I'm trusting that you don't wish to rescind your permission that you gave last year, and that we can go ahead with getting the information from Aqua Maintain as to what would be the best thing to do. Yeah? And then once we've got a report and a set of drawings and plans, we'll hold a series of meetings for landholders, villagers, and talk about natural flood defences, because it's clear that the old thinking on how you prevent a river from flooding, you dredge it, that is actually not the answer. There is good scientific evidence now to say that if you dredge a river, what you're doing is you're flattening out the bed, you're reducing all of the natural energy which controls flow, the way in which the river morphologically, because of its shape, and both because of the way it meanders and because of the way in which the bed undulates, that will actually take energy from the river, slow it down, and make flood events less disastrous. So the objective of the flagship plan, which is, I've got a meeting next week about the whole flagship plan for the river, the objective is to try and minimise the extremes of flood and drought in the headwaters in order to try and stabilise the river flow all the way through, and to take silt out of this area, because this area where tremendous farming is going on and disturbance of the soil, really important that farmers can be encouraged to use methods which minimise the amount of soil that goes into the river, which is in their interest, because actually they don't want half their river being washed into their fields, soils being washed into the river either. So we're building up a farm advisory group. There is a very flourishing one north of Bury. There needs to be one in this area as well, and that's what we're trying to build as well.
Great. Okay, thank you. You'll keep us posted.
Yep, so we will go ahead and talk to Aqua Maintain about getting that plan done. And then we'll talk to you, John, about also getting some volunteers to do any tree felling or tree brush bundles. What we're wanting to do is in terms of nature-based solutions is probably to imitate the action of the beaver. So beaver dams are tremendously good for improving water quality and for retaining water in the landscape. And it's that kind of dam that a little bit untidy, yes, but very effective in regulating flow and silt content.
So to be clear, Ross, the grant that you've successfully obtained, well done, will be used for these consultants who will come up with a plan.
And there will be money over. They won't take the whole amount.
And then that plan will be presented to various people, including us.
Yes, there'll be
and we
meetings.
can comment on it.
Yeah.
Just as we said last year. Sorry to go through that again, but I just wanted to make it clear to myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then if everybody decides that we will go ahead, then I'll call on the jammy donkeys or whatever they're called now to take part in it.
Might need to change names of beavers.
Very good. Excellent. Thank you, Ross. So, Christabel, you are James for the evening.
Yes.
Tree work is
Well,
the next
only We've got anything about tree work, it was more the tree in the river.
Yeah, okay, we'll come on to
That was
that in a
it.
bit.
I
Okay.
have got no,
There's no...
I don't,
Just the weeping willow, we were going to perhaps look at to see whether that could be topped, cut back, reduced
yeah,
because of safety.
like coppice sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I will mention that to him.
Excellent, okay, thank you. Right, 8, purchase of SID. So we've already sort of agreed to purchase the SID. So Karen is obviously quite confident she'll get the money, which obviously you paid for most of it. So can we go ahead and actually purchase it?
Just one unit, right?
Yeah, just the one unit one, yeah, so it's that one. So she was talking about coming up with £2,000, so it basically cost us £1,100. In fact, we're less happy than to pay the VAT, do we? So.
Yeah, it would be that. Well, you know, I don't know, there's a bit of uncertainty, isn't there, about
Yes.
the funding from that, so I think if you want to buy it ahead of finding out about that, I think you've got to
So
be prepared to...
2,600 effectively, plus the
Yeah.
which we don't.
And for permission to install it, did
Yeah.
you discuss that?
We did
Yeah.
indeed. So Matthew Fox doesn't himself actually issue the permissions, but he does advise, and we went round the village to the various locations, which Alex yesterday.
Yeah, so the email that I picked out yesterday has got marked by the yellow dots on each of those images some recommended places around the village that were discussed with Matthew, along with the posts that we already have, for example, the one outside the village hall and just further along Berry Road. So yeah, there are a few ideas in terms of places that they could go. One of them being outside the spin near the almshouses, but that would require an entirely new pole. That is the only one that would require an entirely new pole.
Is that on the same side of the road as the spinning?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so just outside
Yeah.
the corner. The advantage of that is you can look both ways.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, because I think we've been slightly proper with some of the things before, we've not consulted with whoever's house.
Exactly.
These things go outside, so if it's
Yeah.
outside the spinning,
Yeah.
there's no house owner, so it's
No, exactly. So,
Yeah.
so what he said is there's a standard letter that we send to 2 or 3 properties up and down the road just to say this is what we're planning to do.
Okay.
If you know any cause or just impediment, you have to declare it now, sort of thing. So we can get that.
Yeah, and then a form to submit to the council for final approval. What Matthew said is generally where they may say no to one, they will generally advise that if it goes a few metres this way or a few metres that way, it will then get approval.
Who gives the approval? Is it the police or the...
No, it's Suffolk County Council Highways. We basically send them a photo. They probably don't think they can do a site visit. But the interesting thing is we can use existing poles. So for instance, in Wepstead Road, there is what he calls a non-mandatory sign, which is a
narrow
triangle, narrow sign. We can take that off and put the camera there. Not camera,
But what he's
sign.
recommended is to, so for the location there as well as the location in Pinford End, was he recommended having a pole extender because the current height of the poles may not be high enough for the sensor to work accurately, so he suggested having that so that we can place them a touch higher.
40 quid, I think.
So he either said 40 or 60.
Oh, 60, was it?
60.
Sorry.
And then for the pole that would potentially be outside the spinny, should that be agreed to, that would be circa £160 to pay, because the highways have already put a couple of poles in gratis previously.
Do they do a risk assessment on that, the council, or do we need to do that wherever these locations are?
I believe that is covered as part of the approval process when we submit the application. So we would submit an application even for the existing poles to ask for permission to put them on there. And then they would either give us the go-ahead advice or refusal.
So I suppose, do you want to get that bit of it done before you commit to 2,600 or whatever it is?
Well, my next question was the speed indicator devices that we've got currently. Do you know how long we've got them for?
They're only here for a couple of weeks at
Yeah.
a time, a few times a year, probably 7 or 8 times a year, maybe monthly, I'm not quite sure. They're here for a week, maybe, and then they disappear. Sometimes they move the same one from the pole down there to just over the road here. We may have 2 or even 3 sometimes. So it's a job to keep up with exactly how regularly they are here.
So we actually got some places to put them already now, so we could crack on with it.
But you can be, well, from what you said, you need to still get the approval from the council before you can start operating them.
It was the approval for the new locations, the existing
Okay.
ones, because they've already been approved for the ANPR cameras.
Will
There
cover a speed indicator
is
device?
my understanding, but we could
I
ask
suspect
Matthew
it.
Fox for clarification.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to double check.
That's hopeful,
Yeah.
that's optimistic, I'd say. I would imagine, you know.
So if we get our own, will we still be getting these ones coming into the village every few months, or will somebody go, you've got your own now?
That does a different thing, that records the number plate, yeah. So the
everyone-
speed
so they still-
indicator device just flashes the speed in an attempt to slow you down. I think it doesn't record anything, does it?
But what thing is, if we got ours
Yes.
on their pole,
Yeah.
and they come in on, put our speed thing up, are they going to go, oh, no, but the bloke's already put one on there, so we'll take it home?
All right, I'll tell you what, all right, what we'll do is we'll get the, ask permission, get the new poll sorted out.
I'd at least start that
Yeah.
process, because I
Yeah.
think that
We have-
probably will be more time
Yeah.
consuming than it ought to be.
We guarantee.
Yeah.
And potentially,
Yeah, you're right, I mean, buying the thing, they probably have to ship it in 3 days. So, all right,
and potentially something we ought to consider is a placement rota, how we want to work out.
Well, there is a rota for the ANPR, so that, you know, what you do with your speed indicator device should
Time.
complement that, I suppose. And I think we'd also have to add this to the insurance, won't we?
yeah.
So who's going to own it, and who's going to actually keep moving it around the village and fill about all these poles?
Well, if nobody else will, I will. Yeah. We
Well,
can do that.
it could potentially be something where a few of us
Yeah.
put our hands up, and then it would be a case of one of us can then go out and, or two,
It'll be a 2-man job.
based on the weight of the
Yeah.
device.
Are there going to be times when it's not on a pole somewhere, or will it always be on one of the poles?
I think it will always be on one.
It will always be on a pole, and the pole extender will generally live with the
With the machine.
SID device.
Yeah.
And are you obliged to move it every so often?
Well, this is what I mean about a rotor, because we could just leave it in one place permanently, but in order to give ourselves as much coverage and sort of to move to different locations so that it doesn't just become something that people are familiar with and they just ignore.
I think there's data, if it stays in one spot, it becomes ineffective.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So it does have to keep on being rotated, but that's,
So it could be on a monthly basis. It could be something for us to probably discuss and decide, I think, as a council.
See how difficult it is to move it.
Are we informed about the rota for young?
Yeah, we've got the, whether, like John was saying, whether they stick to it, I don't know, but they do they publish the rota for the villages for the ANPR in advance, so we've got that.
Do they indicate which tolls exactly they're going to use?
No, they don't.
Right. It's just.
But you know that they don't go up Wexford Road, do they? So maybe you want to be up Wexford Road every time.
Yeah, well, I guess I was just asking the question on if we get permission for these additional poles, might that mean that they do start to pop on Wexford Road or outside the Spinney, Pinford End, where else? I don't know. Maybe
Isn't it
maybe
first
first
to
to ask.
poll would be okay for the NPR and not for the other one. I mean, we'll check that out. We'll check that out.
Who knows?
Details.
Great. Anyway, are we happy with all that then? Yeah. Brilliant.
So should we say that's approved, subject to just starting the approvals process
For the
first?
post. Yeah, we'll get the post approval.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
We'll get at least one post approval, and then we can get the
Yeah.
votes paid for. Brilliant. That's great. Thank you, Catherine. Right, 8.2, EV charging point, Village Hall. I don't know if anybody wants to start. I can say my thoughts. So my thoughts were that I was mildly in favour of it, but having done a bit more research and gone with John to see the Tubman one, I'm mildly against it. So unless anybody's got any, that's my view on it. I don't know what anybody else's thoughts are.
Right
well,
from the start, being mildly against.
Yeah. Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, there's been very little expression of interest from the community council of late, and I think that I may be wrong, but the feedback is mildly apathetic. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think from what we heard the last meeting with John sort of confirming that from a community council perspective that in terms of events and things that have happened here, there hadn't been the request or desire for that service. Alongside the items which I hadn't been aware of previously, that not allowed overnight parking here, for example. So the benefit that anyone is going to get from the wattage charger that we're going to be able to put here, unfortunately, I think is minimal, which then means the outlay of everything that goes into it then means it's going to be very little benefit. And I don't know sort of where there was talk about it being sort of a paid-for scheme where people pay for the amount of kilowatt hours they have. As I understand it from places that I've worked previously where they've had those out front, I believe that the sums are minimal, so it's not really going to be much of a financial incentive to the village either.
Well, Tubman, what do they get? £72 in a year or something, you know, it's not worth it.
It's just not worth it.
Yeah.
The benefit to the village, I think, is almost non-existent.
What should we move?
It's just going to be a hassle.
Yeah. Well, so, I mean, I was mildly in favour.
Yeah.
Having read your Tubman reports, I feel I am also mildly against. I mean, it was a bit shocking how little revenue you got from it. And I think the only real benefit I could see to the village was going to be people from Wexford Road who couldn't put in a charger of their own, but may, for whatever reason, have to have an electric car work or whatever. But I think if you were in that situation, you'd probably want to charge it overnight.
Yeah, you would.
And so if you can't do that here,
Yeah.
that's a problem.
Yeah.
So it's beginning to stack up for
And
me
Yeah.
as being against.
Yeah.
And even if you could do it here, would you, in effect, want somebody to say, I'm park my car there every night, so I can
Yeah.
charge? It's not a car park, it's somewhere.
And it's ridiculously expensive as well. I mean,
Is it?
if you do overnight at home, we get it for 6p a kilowatt. These charging things are sort of 50p.
I think to be any good in this position like this, it's got to be a pretty fast charger.
Yeah.
People have got to come in, do half an hour, go.
Yeah. And that's
And
expensive.
I don't think that's what we're being offered, is
No,
it?
it's not, and also that would also start attracting the wrong people, because if you could charge it in half an hour, you get taxis coming in,
Yeah.
and you know, you might suddenly find the whole, you know.
Yeah, and I think they were saying as well that the paperwork was complicated,
Yes.
was it?
People are
Yeah.
happy with it.
Yeah.
I think in future, I think it would be worth re-examining. I think technology will move on. There'll be much faster, cheaper charging, hopefully, and I think that the village could revisit it at some time in the future. But I think that's a few years away.
But
I mean, I would say that we for work, I mean, I have an electric car for work, for electric cars, and I do most of my driving around rural Suffolk, and there's a lot of huge gaps in the countryside where there is nowhere to charge. I mean, even a place like Debenham doesn't have any charging, public charging, you know. So I think that it is a problem, and I was sort of thinking, well, perhaps we can do our little bit, but now I'm thinking perhaps not.
Yeah. Well, should we move it into touch for a year or something and revisit it?
Yep.
Yeah. Great. Thank you very much. Good. Okay. 8.3, coordination with other councils to promote anti-speeding initiatives. Well, I was approached by Malton to sort of have a get-together, and Alex actually went to a meeting on my behalf.
Yeah, so I mean, from the meeting perspective, it was Henry being invited along, but wasn't able to attend, so I went along. And to be honest, there's not much structure or anything around this at the moment. It's essentially a group of parish councils who are unhappy with the amount of speeding that they see in their villages, feel that they are potentially not getting the level of support from the council that they would like to see to help mitigate those issues. And so essentially want to get a bit of a round table together of local parish councils in order to essentially, in numbers, be able to approach the council and say, this is a problem across all of these parish councils, what can you do to actually help us, as well as discussing amongst the parish councils ideas for different speeding mitigation avenues. The form that takes at the moment, as I say, is all very up in the air. It's essentially three parish councils that are sort of leading the charge on it, as it were, at the moment, and the letter has gone out around parish councils. So I think it's then for parish councils to discuss whether they want to get involved in that scheme, and from there the level of involvement that they want to have in the scheme.
So, I mean, I said initially I was interested in the true term through meaning of the word interested, and then it got a little bit carried away. I thought, well, I can't actually talk because I'm not the parish council, I'm only 1/7 of it, so I kind of backed off it a bit and said, no, until we've talked about it, I can't really say anything. One thing I was slightly worried about was they wanted to make this comment that they hadn't had much help from Suffolk County Council, and actually Matthew Fox has been quite helpful. So I didn't really want to sign us up to something that's slagging Suffolk County Council highways off. So I'm not, to be honest, I'm not quite sure where to go with it.
Yeah, I didn't really contribute very much when I went to that meeting because, as you say, I haven't got sign off, so it was more of a sort of information, just listening in really. And a lot of it seemed to be, for example, in Malton, where they were talking about speeding through the middle of the village, and you could sense that emotions were running fairly high, which I think has then led on to those sort of communications, and obviously they had to go through press along to
Yeah, well, that's when I sort of started to get a bit.
it's just like, yeah, we need to sort of
in the same
hold
I don't know, what do people think? Do you think we should progress cooperation with other villages, or do you think we should go it alone? Or?
I think that a lot of the things that you guys are aiming at is actually to do with areas of legislation. Who decides what the speed limits are, who decides how you can set people up to send, but to actually get them points on their licence. And at the end of the day, unless you have a situation in a village where people know if they get done by Mr. Village Man with his gun like we go out, you will get points on your licence. It's not going to make any difference. And the idea about changing speed limits says that they're all 20-mile-an-hour speed limits or less. You've got to think about changing legislation to do that. And so it's all very nice to get little sort of protest groups, if you like, up and out and around about. But you've got to think about how you can change that. I think a lot of that will mean changing legislation. And we can't, at the minute, go out and give anybody any points. We rely on the police to send them a little letter, which they do. and then if they get a third letter and a fourth letter, you might get a policeman come to your door and say, stop doing it. But that's it, and that's all they're ever going to get.
So what do we think? Do we think we should
party
progress buddying up or quietly walk away from it, or any thoughts?
In my opinion, for what it's worth,
Yeah.
I think we've got enough to be getting on with in the village. We're doing our best with speed box, with the signs. We recognise the issue. I think we need to fight our own battles.
We've got a rapport with Matthew Fox.
Yeah.
Don't risk it over.
Okay. Well, should we just quietly decide that and not
Just
what we can?
you could express general support, but
Support,
you don't have enough meeting time or resource to
Yeah.
do it. Is that what you want
Yeah,
to do?
okay, yeah. Well, no, if you're having to write a letter to that, that's brilliant.
I don't know whether there have been any more communications from them about what they're doing at the moment.
No, the last thing I said was, sorry, I can't really talk to you anymore because I'm only 1/7 of the parish council.
We could say what we're doing. We've got active speed washing.
Yeah.
We're driving in a way that is slow ourselves doing in the village. I mean, I think that's also an issue, isn't it? That we should all take upon ourselves to drive in a way that we would like to be driven at.
Yes, yes.
I think also that, to put it in perspective, I have no idea whether Malton, it's not on main road. I say that because Great Walding Field, towards Lavender, wherever it is, our figures for July were 12 letters sent. Great Walding Field had 85 letters sent. And they're only about the same amount of time as we are, possibly less. But they're on a busy road.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's all a question of perspective, isn't it?
Well, indeed, we've actually probably got less of a speed than probably we think.
Yeah, and so I bet they probably have as well, actually. But,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I bet their volunteers don't get bacon sandwiches.
I bet they do. I think their plan is sadly look at I can't see an end, I can't see a result, I can't see a destination, but I know they've got somewhere, so that's the point.
Okay.
Do you want to ask to be kept on a mailing list about this?
Oh,
Or
nice,
be
yeah. Very diplomatic, yeah, that would be good.
So you want, just to monitor.
Yeah, let's
at
say-
the moment you haven't got resource to
Yeah.
actively
Brilliant.
apply.
Thanks, Catherine.
Yes, Robin across. I mean, there's a nice notice just beyond Chedborough, kill your speed, not our pets. Which I don't think is going to do anything.
Or our children.
Well, that's the other issue. Mention the pets, not the children. That's what I thought.
Oh dear. Good, okay, fantastic. So 8.4, insurance renewal.
Oh.
What's the... so it's a question of...
So that, it's coming up for renewal. Your existing insurer is Clear Council and Spar is the underwriter. We paid $392 last year. The same broker switched insurer to go to Ecclesiastical, which does all the churches in Suffolk, but that's a big hike up to 531 plus an 481 plus an arrangement fee. Broadly the same, it's adequate cover, but we'd have to inspect the swings every week and no doubt write some logbook. And I did query that with them, hoping they'd come back and say, oh no, don't worry. But they said, oh no, you would have to do that. And you can just ask one of your members to do it. I think that's quite onerous, really. So Zurich is better. You get broadly the same cover. It's expressed in a different way. I think they don't really personalise the thing, so you just get bands of up to whatever it is, but that's okay. The only thing is if we do add another 2,500 on, I think that may take us over that limit. But I might just ask them to see if they can. I'll give them a phone about that before renewal,
Thank you.
but that might bump the premium up.
That's if everything's stolen at once, though, Catherine, isn't it? All our assets are taken.
Well,
So if
that's
they're
right,
still-
but you've got to make sure you've got adequate cover, and actually of the things which are going to go missing or get damaged, it probably would be worth claiming on the SID, wouldn't it, rather than on a brick bin worth 60 quid or something. but rather worryingly though, because we had changed a few years ago to go to ANSPAR, we're no longer able to get insurance from Community Action Suffolk, which is probably 90% of councils insure with them, parish councils that is, but they will no longer quote for some reason.
Because we left them, Catherine, or...
They're hurt. I don't know. They said they were. I didn't quite understand the reasoning. They wouldn't be able to offer us a quote. So should we go for Zurich? But bearing in mind that might go up a bit once I've clarified about the speed indicator device.
Are there any issues in terms of playground equipment amount being less?
Well, what are those swings worth? Probably not that much. You get a band of up to 13,500 of cover with Zurich. I don't think there's any flexibility on that unless your playground equipment is worth more than that, and then you'll be on a higher premium, I think. That's how it works. But the only playground equipment the parish council is responsible for is the swings, which are probably worth
Good point.
Good
point.
Yeah.
Sorry, my
300
mind
quid
was.
or something, aren't they?
Yeah.
My mind went to the stuff out here.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not.
That's
It's,
good.
no, it's
Yeah.
not that. Yeah.
Disregard me then.
I found that a useful policy.
Yes, I can see a bit on their quote that relates to skateboarding BMX parks. Well, I can't find anything that just says playground equipment, but they do say BMX parks are inspected by a competent person at least weekly, and all defects and risks to health and safety immediately rectified, or the structure taken out of use. I get that it's a BMX park or a skateboard park, but there's not, I can't see anything here on the quote about just a normal playground.
So when have we got to make a decision now as to which?
Well, I think if we can approve that one in principle,
Zurich in
and
principle.
I'll let you know if there's
let's do that.
any increase in the premium. I think even if it'll be cheaper to get that included now rather than changing the policy once it's been bought, and that may hasten the purchase date of the SID if it needs to be purchased before
Right.
1st of October.
Brilliant. Excellent. Thank you. Right, 8.5. So, removal of the tree in the brook. So before we talk about that, we really ought to talk about us working as a team. We all know that we must act as a group and decisions are made at parish council as a group decision. So Ros, last September we did agree 4-1 to have the tree removed at the earliest opportunity, which I think was the 1st of September. And then you emailed the tree guy to say don't do that. I don't really think you can be doing that kind of stuff. You know, we're a parish council. We're democratically elected to operate as a council on a majority vote, and we voted to get it gone.
By the 1st of September, this is only the 11th? I thought that if he could just not rush to do it, then we could perhaps reconsider. That's all. I said, don't, what I said, I didn't say don't do it. I said, would you please not rush to do it?
Okay, I don't want to sound like a schoolmaster, but it's better if we run these things through Catherine, I think, if we're going to do that. Yeah. Is that a fair comment?
I
Okay,
The problem
great.
is that once the tree's gone, it's gone, and nobody can do anything about it. And over the summer, I have brought a number of people down to sort of think about forward planning for the whole area, because it is part of the flagship plan for the Lark. And everybody who has come down here said, what an amazingly natural environment we've got here. It's
Lovely.
priceless. It's lovely. I haven't seen anything like this for years. And everybody who's seen the tree, and I have said it, the parish council wants to take it out, and unanimously, you can't do that. Because it is, I mean, what is interesting about it is that in the last year, the riverbed has actually changed its shape. It's not so much the meander that's changed its shape, the bed has. And because the energy in the stream has been directed downwards into the bed, it's scoured out a pond, a pool in the bed. And that natural movement of the bed and the cobbles and the gravel and the silt is part of what constitutes a healthy stream. That pool that was created underneath that tree was actually full of water before the recent rain. And I was at the end of the most recent period of drought. There was water in that pool, and there was life in that pool. And so I was met by a villager walking his dog, and they said, what are you doing? And I said, well, we're thinking about the flow in the river. And his instant reaction was, oh, well, it needs dredging. All these piles of cobbles are stopping the flow. The piles of cobbles are being put there by the river. The tree has been put there by the river. It's part of the natural process that the river goes in for. And it's where the Browns have left woody debris in the riverbed, there are pools even downstream. Where there is no woody debris in the river, where there is nothing on the bank to shade the river, it's been absolutely dry for the last 2-3 months. And the other thing that Rob Clapham, who is the coordinator for the whole of the East Anglia Rivers area, he's as in charge of rivers as anybody is to the Environment Agency. He's saying that he cannot vouch for whether taking it out would improve or not improve, or would it be the issue of the footpath. Whether taking it out would actually cause the footpath to erode more than leaving it in. He's not prepared to say because there are too many variables. What he does say is that it's usually better to leave it there.
I think one of the things for us really is where these conversations have been happening. It would have been useful to have had some of the context around those conversations and had some of that input shared with us prior to any comms going to tree surgeon, in order for us to have a discussion about these items rather than direct comms with the tree
I
surgeon.
don't think the tree surgeon would have got in there because he's quite busy. He wouldn't have got in there in the last week in any case. All I said is, could you please hold your horses until the parish council meeting on the 11th? That's what actually I said to him.
Okay, well,
I'm happy to say something.
James.
I can try and, well, James, I can be me. It's a bit of both, really. So, the various views that Ross has got, I agree with, in that I'm not at all surprised what everybody's saying. It is absolutely what anybody in the Environment Agency would say. So I'm not surprised by it. And it's quite normal, that advice. But what we need to remember is that there's an extra factor here. And it could be that some of those people are not aware of they don't have the same local knowledge that we do. So the track is the thing that's at risk. So it's really a case of, in making a decision, you've got the very correct advice that Roz has got, but do you want to risk the erosion taking away that track. And the track is, it's not just part of the footpath network that we've created there, but it's also, we need to also remember that there are at least two landowners who that is the track to their land. You've got the field at the back that was the Browns field and is now owned by the new farmer, IC and RN, I can't remember the name.
Ian Thompson.
Thompson, yeah. They use that track. I don't think they use it really for big farm machinery, but I think they probably take a gator down there or something sometimes. And also, Glenn Hammond that's also uses that as access to his land. So, are we willing to risk? And also we need to bear in mind that they could, they could criticise us for not taking action which is preserving their access. So, I think it's a case of, it's correct advice that Ross has got, but there is a risk to the track if that erosion does happen. And that's what you need to consider. Are you willing to take that risk? And also, it is a lovely bit of river, it's absolutely lovely river. Other trees will fall down in time, so you've got to look at it in terms of, this is one tree, natural river processes and tree processes around other natural occurrences will occur. Erosion, yeah.
Based on the discussion that we had with Matthew Fox, where he had a look at the footbridge there, he made the point that the 3 trees that are on 3 of the 4 corners of that bridge look to be causing quite a issue to the strength of that bridge, since the roots going into the brickwork is weakening that bridge. He's made the suggestion of taking those 3 trees out. And potentially some of that wood could be used in the river to help with flow, which isn't going to be nearly the size, obviously, of the willow.
Yeah. So just to pick up on that, so I haven't actually looked at which trees exactly it is. Some of those trees may not be ours.
Right.
It might be on to the other 2 landowners. We'll have to look at it. But James is happy to have a look at that and work out what needs to come down. Another thing I forgot to mention is that the tree is not being taken away. It's going to be chopped up to reasonable sized chunks and will then go into the river. So it will still create habitat and natural flow. So natural processes.
Anybody else want to speak? John?
I've obviously been thinking about this, and Christabel has emphasised James's report from last year. That's really the point that James was making, was risk to the track, and Christabel has reinforced that this evening. So that was why I said last September, when the parish council looked at this, that we should remove the tree, and I stick with that thought.
Can I say that where the tree has rested on the opposite bank, there is, as I say in my report, there is some healthy growth now there. It is a willow. It will be sending roots into the bank there. That in itself will stabilise that bank. If you cut up wood and put it in there, you probably need to pin it in order to satisfy the highways flood department. Whereas this tree is actually effectively pinned on both sides. It's not going anywhere. But it is creating some interesting gradations in the bed. And it appears not to be eroding a bank where the kingfisher nest is.
Okay, does anybody else want to say anything about the tree? So, Catherine, do we stick to the vote that we've had, or do you want to have another vote?
Well, I think you've discussed it in light of new information, so I'll take another vote.
Okay, so let's have a vote then. So, those in favour of what we just agreed last year and removing the tree? Great, okay. 8.6, proposal to provide a memorial bench. So this is Ethel and Jimmy's, sorry, it's Ethel's son-in-law. Is to provide, wants to provide a bench to go somewhere on the village green to commemorate Ethel and Jimmy. So I suppose the first question is, do we agree that that is a good idea? Are we happy for that to happen? I'm happy for it to happen.
I've got a location in mind.
Well, I was going to say that
You have?
no.
That's what's very important. To
Okay, yeah.
be sure.
But in general, I was going to say, do we want a bench, yes or no, and then we can decide whether we want it.
I haven't got a problem with bench in principle.
Right, okay.
I know we get a lot of requests for benches,
Right.
so I think a bench, as long as we have a location to put it in.
Yeah, I think we can agree on the position because Ethel and Jimmy were sort of long-standing members of the community, and so
Yeah.
it'd be
I think it would be nice.
to.
And my thoughts, which I haven't even looked, so you can shoot me down and say it's a ridiculous idea. Sorry, beg your pardon. Ethel was very keen on children, and I'm just wondering whether it could go somewhere not far from the play area. Just a thought. I haven't even looked to sort of see how it would fit in.
There is, yeah.
So there's one there.
One there already, just outside the fence of the play area.
Right.
Yeah.
So a second one along there, I can't see causing any problems.
Right, so because there's one there already, the other one wouldn't hurt, is what you're saying, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. It's a bit dark to go out and start looking, isn't it?
Would they be buying it or would we be
Yeah,
buying
no,
it?
they're buying it.
Okay, so I
Yeah.
think we need to know what
We just need to
the
think
design
that is.
before we...
Oh, I see, in case it's sort of
Well,
psychedelic thing.
I think we've learned in the past that they need to be quite substantial, robust,
Yeah.
don't they?
Yeah.
Because otherwise they'll just rot away quite quickly, you know, and...
Well, shall I say
information.
shall I say that we need to see the design, so we agree in principle that we'll have one, we'll have it. We need to agree the design, and perhaps I can get him out and come and
Yeah.
see where he
It's
wants
presumably
it.
going to be fixed to, I mean, otherwise somebody will nick it.
I'm not a bench expert, John, you're the bench expert. You handle hundreds of benches.
They normally have ground anchors
Oh.
that helps them from being nicked on the spur of the moment.
So does that mean in effect we also, it's like a professional bench rather than an amateur bench?
I think so. I wouldn't want one of those cheap, sort of thin ones you can buy for £100 or something. I think this really needs to be
Yeah, so we need to see what it
to
is.
remember two fantastic villages.
Yeah. Okay, so can we say that we'll tell him that we agree in principle, but
Yeah.
we need more details sort of thing. Before we light it or something. Do you want me to write
I
down?
don't have any contact details for...
No, to be honest, he's just done it all via WhatsApp, so
Yeah. Do you, I mean, I would say, you know, if you're particular about what type of bench it is, I think you need to give him a hint, because we don't know what his
Yeah.
budget is.
yes, yes,
And there is
Yeah,
a
that's
big
fine.
variety.
yes.
And the other thing is, if you go for a wooden bench, and I'm sure in Hawstead you wouldn't consider man-made products, it does mean that it's going to have to be maintained,
Yes, there
probably
is.
by John.
John, yeah. John.
So,
Well, there's already one bench age, another one won't hurt, you know.
I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, no,
What a
Or we really say
look-alike wood one.
if it's a hardwood bench,
Yeah.
then it won't take as much
Yeah.
maintenance as it was
Yeah.
softwood. So that would be
A hardwood.
preferable, presumably.
Yeah,
Hardwood, robust.
yes, easy maintenance.
Or nice concrete.
Okay, all right, fantastic. Good, good. 8.7, proposal to create a village design statement. Has everybody seen sort of where that's come from? So basically one of the villagers asked about this because of the house slightly worried that it might be developed into something they don't like. But I mean, what Catherine's basically said is, you know, well, it is a planning commission thing. We have some input into it. If it's permitted development, then there's not much we can do about it.
What on earth would a design statement say?
Well, we didn't manage to get anybody to volunteer for the parish plan, did we? So,
I think places like Clare or Lavenham or sort of quite distinct historic centres have, and if they've got a local architecture group or something, that would be the type of thing which gets developed. I have to say that would be quite a commitment.
It's hard to do here because there's a range of different
exactly.
So
the latest West Suffolk plan, where it relates to development in the countryside, differs very little from the plan as it related to development in the countryside going back several years. It's still exactly the same in terms of the number of houses in the cluster, whether they're on the same strip of road, and that the property should have the same footprint and size if it's an infill as anything that's there already. That's all. It's all in the plan.
Yeah. So there's you've already written to say.
I've written at some length to her, but it seems to be a never-ending chain. But she did ask. She asked for this to be added to this agenda discussion. So I can go back now and say we have discussed it and we have no plans at this stage to do this.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
There is, I believe, a Suffolk Preservation Society document which is a sort of design guide. It's like the vernacular style of Suffolk buildings, which I think some of the places like London and Melbourne or whatever use. Or whether that's appropriate for Hawstead, I don't really know.
So we're talking about this place over the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it just may be helpful. I think in the advert they have up for, if you've seen it,
No.
the agent, it doesn't really. It's not awfully helpful when it says, this is verbatim, something like this property may be next door to a nice listed building. However, the house probably. However, it's amazing because that doesn't necessarily mean you can't do what you like on this site.
Oh, that's worrying.
That's probably what.
So it's not very helpful, is it? Because some of them not based down and just think, well, I'll build my Huff House or something like that, and which actually is quite nice. But so the stuff in the agent's blurb suggests that don't be put off by this rather nice listed building next door because you can get planning here for anything, which is what it's suggesting.
Yeah.
Which, if that's correct, if that's why the thing about having a design statement, I get it. Why wouldn't you try and get a design statement? But it's in reality, you probably would not get just any old bloody thing on that.
And it'll have to be subject to proper planning. Okay. Yeah. Happy with that, then, Catherine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Fantastic. Let's move on quickly then. Quite a late update then. So John sent around some info. So as we mentioned earlier, it'd be a joint thing between us and Great Wellington. Are we all happy to do that? Yeah. Bells Lane?
Karen didn't seem exactly
She didn't seem overly enthusiastic about it.
that's what I'm looking for.
What do you do? Making a formal application?
Yes.
for it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, in conjunction with
Great.
Greg and Ethan. Yeah, good, fantastic. Good. Okay, so the planning then, Maglia Rosso.
No,
one, I think.
What one is
something else.
Oh, sorry.
There's
Little
the,
Mead.
Oh, I beg your pardon, thank you.
I think with that now, and I took it off, it was on the agenda originally, but I think we're past the deadline now for adding anything.
Yes.
But, you know, everything today, the whole planning file today will go off to the planning inspectorate, including comments the parish council has made previously. So,
Nothing to add.
well,
Yeah.
it'd be too late
Yeah.
to add anything, but
Yeah.
to be aware that that is under review, I suppose.
Cool. Okay. Thank you. So 9.2 then. So this is the Matthew Rosso or Metcalfe Arms thing. Does anybody want to kick off with any comments?
All I would say,
You say you will declare an interest.
what I would say, yeah,
The parking.
is the parking.
Yeah.
I think I'm right in saying that they're thinking of having cars parked sort of facing the building or one way from the building, but two cars parked one behind the other facing the building. And actually, I did pace that out. I can't remember how many meters it was now. But I thought you'd be very lucky to get two, if you've got two cars, one behind the other, not have the rear end of the second car in the road, because you've got the planting pot things that would definitely have to go, because you couldn't get the cars in anyway if you're going to park them straight on, so they've got to go. I just can't understand how that would work, because
No, I can't either.
you know, I think the max is about 8 metres, 8 metres it was from the building to the road. Most cars are going to be good 3 metres long. And I just don't see how that works. I think it could be potentially quite dangerous because, you know, there's on a bend, people are going to be reversing out of there. I just don't see how to
That's certainly my view, and also obviously Andy Parrott's view as well, isn't it?
And the other question that I had, was when, which isn't such an issue, when the places are turned, I think it's into holiday accommodation, what would be the provision for those people to have barbecues, or where would they be doing that? Would that be part of this camping empire, or is that, or will they have no provision for that at all? And then I think the other thing is the back of the mind is a little bit that now is the add-on to the cafe where you can go and sit. You go out sort of outside, but not outside in the covered area. They're thinking of uprating that, as I understand it. I'm just wondering what will be in place to stop that actually being continually upgraded into just part of the main building. You know, so I just, and those questions are...
Yeah, I mean, then one of the problems with planning applications is you can't look ahead and say, they're doing this because they're going to do that.
Yeah.
That's,
but my
you
main
have to
thing
take
was
the face value, don't you?
Yeah.
It's an application of what it is.
So,
but the main thing was parking anyway.
yeah. Ros, you have any thoughts on
No opinions at all.
No. Well, that's honest. Christabel?
I've got some. So I totally agree with you about the parking, the car, 4 cars. I can't see it working. I drove past today and I just couldn't see there was space to do that. And I think it'll look messy as well.
Yeah.
So I totally agree that we should object to that. And the other thing that concerns me is when it was a pub, it then became a shop, and that didn't need a change in planning, so we had no input into that. If it becomes holiday homes, then there is no going back. You know, it will never be a pub or any sort of hospitality or retail again. So, you know, are we prepared to accept that it's never going to be anything along those lines again? I did think, would it be better, I'm not sure about this, would it be actually better rather than being holiday homes, but to be actually 2 small houses for local families? Because not a lot of small accommodation in Hawstead. you know, might that actually be a better option? And the other thing was, I thought we have got quite a lot of holiday accommodation in Hawstead. And I tried counting it up, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I got to 6 or 7 holiday cottages, the glamping with the 4 bells, and the pods, 6 pods. So that's 10. So there's 16 in effect, different places you can, or 17. I wasn't sure about Rose Cottage anymore.
Rose
No, that's crossed out. Okay, 16. So there's quite a lot of places you can stay in Hawstead. Do we need another couple and sit in 3 more places?
And that
I
doesn't
don't really
include the mobile homes and other stuff that goes on for sale as well, doesn't it? Because little down there at the Magna Rosso.
Oh, no, I hadn't included that.
Oh no, they're quite. Who I would say are parking where they shouldn't. A lot of them was where they shouldn't. It was agreed that the bigger mobile homes would park down the lower end of the site and was not go right up the site and stare right into Andy Parrott's windows. And they're always parking up there. They always go. I understand it. The mobile home just want to get as far away and be in the wilds, don't you? But that means that they're looking down on everybody.
Unfortunately, on the basis of the exemption licence which they applied for and got, as I understand it, because that doesn't need to follow the same restrictions as planning. From a camping perspective, they can kind of do what they like with that exemption in place.
No, on the agreement they had from Camping England, that is that they had an agreement with, it was agreed that they would put the mobile homes, as it was, in a certain part of the site.
I thought it had been left on grey.
Okay, well,
So highlight. So I think in summary, I totally agree about the cars outside. I think there's plenty of parking they could be using. I don't see why they need the extra parking in front. And I am not keen on the idea of it not being some form of hospitality or retail, because I think there's no going back.
Very good point.
So I'm objecting, basically.
James.
Parking safety is first and foremost, without doubt. Also, there's not that much noise comes from the pods as it is, but on a nice evening in the summer, sitting in the garden, you can hear what's going on down there.
Yeah.
More people, more noise, and I would imagine Andy would not be that amused. More going in there. But plus that, everyone else that lives at this end of the village will be more likely to suffer some noise pollution.
John, your thoughts?
Well, the only person I don't agree with is Ross, who didn't have an opinion on it. I've got an opinion on it, and it's very much as what Christabel said. Whether or not the fact that there are already numerous places for holiday lets in the village will carry any weight if we mention that to the planners. But I think in a village of 127 houses, if there are 17 or 18 or whatever you said, that's a substantial number. I agree about parking. I think it'll actually be a danger with cars, reflectors and back and front parked there on that bit of a bend, and I think it could cause a problem. If they want to park the cars, they ought to park them in the main car park or round the back somewhere. That's just my view.
Yeah, I agree. What about the early views on the sort of the loss of licensed premises?
Yes, I think that's a fair point. I'm not sure that we can, again, persuade planners, but we lost for good. Barry and Matt have got to make a living and they've changed their business model, and this is their suggested way forward. So you've got to think of their livelihood as well.
So there's an objection to the change of use, then?
Yeah, thus far. So we vote for, if we take a vote for whether we support it or object to it.
I'm not, yeah, sure. I mean, my main issue is the parking. I
Yeah.
also have dealt with a sneaky thing about it turning into residential, or that sort of residential. Partly the same reason, because I suspect again that if I was doing that, I'll be thinking I'll get some resi planning for this, more resi planning I can get anywhere on this site. The more likely in a few years' time, when I want to put the whole site up for residential,
Yeah, which is
I've got a better likelihood of getting it.
We can't speculate.
No, but no, well, we can speculate, but we can't. That doesn't have any input, does it? And so, but I take the point. Yes, that it's actually taking away an element of the village in terms of the retail aspects that were there, which will be gone for good, and then it's much more of a residential development as a whole. I don't agree with that either. No.
So Alex, do you have if you were voting?
I agree with in terms of I don't think the parking out front of the building works. Just from a sort of size and logistical perspective, it doesn't work, unfortunately. Then, I would probably echo the statement of it would be a shame to lose it as in terms of the change of use. But I would say certainly on the parking front is a definite no from me.
So Catherine, in terms of what we have to make.
How many of you object to the change of use? Maybe
Yes.
just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All of you, majority object, and all of you have reservations about the parking. And there's one comment about the noise as well. So parking, change of use, parking and safety, and a bit of noise.
And we're only reflecting our very local views, and it may be the planners take a different decision, as they've done many times before.
I think, you've got limited services, haven't you, in this location, and that was one of the places which did offer a service to members of the public, including residents, so I think that's a fair planning point to make, if you want to make it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Right, so finance. Received and approved by monthly financial summary by DT.
So you've got just shy of 21,000 in the bank.
Yeah.
Some payments totaling £1,480 odd. And there will also be the insurance premium. And I do wonder whether there's the Macmillan Coffee Morning coming up. They haven't approached us yet. Do you want to... They do normally ask at the last minute for a grant, and you normally as a council give them 150 quid by cheque.
Well, should we just agree that now?
Yeah.
Happy everyone? Yeah.
Thank you.
Excellent. So to acknowledge and accept pay award.
Yes.
Happy?
Thank you.
Good. Consider retention of outdated speed gun. What the hell are we going to do with this thing? Put it in a cabinet.
Put it in a stick.
Yeah.
I looked on eBay and there was one for sale for £18, but it's been there for a number of years.
Just put it in the stick, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
Well, I think we can do that. We just have to resolve that you're going to take it off the asset register and write it off, I think.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. it's going skipping.
Could put it on eBay.
Yeah, so do it for 16.
Yes.
And Alex will deliver it.
Okay.
No dear, right, so that's it then. Confirm the date of next meeting, so 30th of November. No, have I missed something?
11, correspondence.
Oh, sorry.
That's
Yes.
just to note, it's the,
Yeah.
it's the usual playground reports, there's no change in the risk findings for them. And I think there's a forthcoming town on parish forum if anybody's interested in going to it. I've circulated details on you.
Now it's point 12.
Sorry, I somehow managed to, my computing screwed it up. I do apologise, so we're all there, so, right. 30th of November then, good. Sorry that